cable access. Located in the center of Foxborough, Massachusetts, you are watching Around Foxborough.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jared Craig. Welcome to Around Foxborough. We are lucky enough today to be joined by our founder and executive chef of Three Saffron. His name is John Parga Torres. John, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being here.
Hi, it's great to be here, Jared. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. I just want to tease a little bit that at the end of the show, you're going to do a 15-minute cooking demo for us. And could you tell us what you're going to be cooking just so that people
Absolutely.
can stay tuned?
So Three Saffron is all about high-end at home. It's a way to create beautiful and well-presented food at home without having to know too much, even about cooking technique, if you just have a couple of basics in mind. So we'll be demonstrating something like this today. We're making seared scallops, and those are going to be served over under a plantain cup containing mango salsa, dressed with salsa verde, and then anointed with some saffron beurre blanc. Do the whole thing in 15 minutes.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Sounds like a perfect summertime dish too.
With some Caribbean flair.
You mentioned beautiful. I've got to give a shout out to your Instagram. It's Omnimatic on Instagram. You've got a lot of great pictures, a couple of videos with some tips and tricks in it too. Could you tell us what kind of cuisine Three Saffron is? Mediterranean?
Three Saffron is global cuisine, meaning that I draw inspiration aesthetically really from Asian food and Japanese aesthetics. But from a flavoring standpoint, I really gravitate towards Spaniard, Cuban, Italian, and Southeast Asian flavors. So I bring all of those together, and then I present with the deliberate aesthetic that I learned in Japan. I studied food quite a bit in Japan. And what I found there and what I love there is that everything has meaning. Every position on the plate means something. And I love that element of it. So I say that it's global cuisine with a global sensibility and an aesthetic that is all about purpose and meaning.
Well, I gotta say, from looking at your pictures of your plating, it does look visually like a piece of art. And if it tastes even half as good as it looks, you must make some really incredible dishes.
That's what I hear. People seem to like it.
I watch a lot of cooking shows, and they refer to cooking as an art. Do you view it as an art, or do you consider yourself an artist?
I view cooking as an art, and I aspire to be have the best expression of that art that I can. I think an artist is someone who puts their soul into a piece of creation and isn't afraid to take risks and will make you feel something with the work. I think there's a difference between art and entertainment. I think art makes you think. Entertainment makes you satisfied and happy. Art, not necessarily. It can make you think. And my food is supposed to make you think, but give you that satisfaction of a great, great, beautiful thing to eat as well.
It's such a sensory experience too, right? The taste, the smells, the visual. You're checking so many boxes there, which is really great. I was wondering, you have this phrase on your website that really struck me. I wanted to ask if you could talk more about it. You say you like the idea of cooking confident masculinity and refined sensitivity. It's such a beautiful phrase, and it comes across in your work, at least visually. Could you talk a little more about that?
Sure. Well, I learned how to cook in my grandfather's Cuban kitchen. I started cooking when I was 7, and prior to that, I didn't even know I was getting my education basics on food. On his day off, we would go buy the ingredients from shop to shop, go to the butcher, go to the fish store, go to the bread store. And then he'd assemble these magnificent dinners. And I was just in awe of how he had so much confidence in the kitchen. And he knew exactly what he was doing. And watching him take the silver skin off of a piece of filet mignon was just beautiful. So he had confidence, and he was masculine in the kitchen. He was a masculine man, but he was also very sensitive and was tuned in empathetically to people in an extraordinary way. So the way that he finished the food was delicate and sensitive and gorgeous. And I love the combination of those two things. I always thought that represented him well, and it's something that I also aspire to.
I think it's really beautiful. I'm a stay-at-home dad, and I do most of the cooking in our house too. And so
Okay.
I'm constantly trying to balance that and set both of those examples for my kids as well. But I was wondering, for an average person like me, do you have any tips or tricks or how to approach ingredients in the back of the pantry that we might not touch very often? What are your do you have any go-to?
Sure. Having a pantry, definitely. Also look for fresh ingredients periodically and look for things that are locally grown. That's going to add a lot to your food right away. Quality of ingredients means a lot. And the other thing is focus on basics and fundamentals. Cooking is a lot of simple things put together that make it complex. But no one thing is particularly complex or difficult. Techniques can be acquired in little parts. And then every time you acquire a technique, it's going to improve the way that your dishes look and the way that they taste. So I'd say before you think big picture about food, think small. Think about, how am I going to cut this mango, which I'll be demonstrating today? How do I boil this pasta right? Focus on those little elements and your food will absolutely taste better.
That's great. And to get those, how to cut a mango, for example, do you go on YouTube? If we don't have a culinary degree, how do we get that information?
Well, it's the first thing I'm going to demonstrate.
Cool.
So is that a good segue then?
I think absolutely. Yeah. Maybe we could chat a little bit about the dish after you're done.
I can just demonstrate a mango then. I don't even have to talk about it.
Let's do it. That would be great.
All right. So let me just make sure you have a good angle on me here and you can see me and my cutting board. Tell me if that's okay.
Yep.
Get the light levels all the way up here. How's this? If I do it this way, can you see?
I can. Can I just say that's a beautiful knife?
Okay, well, this is my favorite knife. Right.
That's
here.
Really cool.
This is actually a Serbian style blade. So this is a Vietnamese mango. They're very sweet and they have a nice firm texture, which is what we're looking for. So the way that you prepare a mango is there's a pit in the middle and you want to cut along the sides just so that you're cutting on either side of the pit. Cut it in a square so that you have every side represented and cut off, okay? And now the trick to getting the perfect little cubes of mango that you see in a restaurant is to first slice it down the middle without breaking the skin, split it, and then continue to make incisions through it without breaking the skin. Now you can open it up and you can make incisions the other way. Put your knife parallel to the board, take all those little chunks off, and you're done.
Wow. You made it look so easy.
Yeah.
And that whole center part,
it does become easy.
That whole center part is the pit then. That's
so this is the pit. Yeah, this is the pit right here. And it's great to chew on. Just get that meat right off of there. So don't waste it. That's the little chef tricks that we have. So I'm going to do one more side of this mango. These are really the best parts to eat. I'm going to take that right off. And what this is going to become, Jared, is a mango chutney, okay? Which is a couple of other little ingredients. Another thing that's really misunderstood is chilies. What's your point of view on chilies? Do you like hot food? Because what I would do is I would gauge my audience to see how much heat I would put into the food.
So I'm personally, my opinion, my wife loves spicy. So I always say, I'll try it. And if I can't handle it, I'll try to.
Okay, well then here's what I would do for you then. I would take out the ribs. The ribs are where all the heat is. So if I take out these ribs, the rest of the chili is going to taste sweet. Okay, so you cut through the ribs and then you cut parallel to the board to get them out. Okay?
So you're cutting toward yourself, which I had always heard was dangerous. Is this because you're a professional, or would you?
It's because I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
I go for efficiency in how my knife skills and my knife work is. I don't cut myself, so my techniques are are pretty well tested. Before you do that, though, definitely practice and go slow. You have to know perfect before you go fast.
Great.
Do it perfect first.
I've always heard
Now-
a dull knife is more dangerous than a sharp knife. Is that true? You can
Huh?
slip. A dull knife is more dangerous than a sharp knife because you could slip and
Absolutely.
cut yourself.
So now we're going to go through this chili here one way, turn it around, go through the other way. This is called a brunoise. It's a nice symmetric chop, okay? And it's little things like this, like a perfectly brunoise chili looks like that. They're all the same size.
How is it different from a dice?
A dice is when you would be going for like even smaller pieces, and they don't have to be symmetric.
Okay, I see.
This is a dice, as opposed to a perfectly symmetric brunoise. Okay. So then the only other thing that goes in this salsa is a little bit of cilantro. Curl up your cilantro kind of into a little cigar, and then go through it. And now what we are going to do here, Jared, is dice it. Fine dice. I'm going to add salt. Make sure that when you salt, you're salting at the right time. Salt will draw water out of food, so you have to be careful when you salt it. Like salting fish will make that fish dry if you salt it first. Salt it after. A little bit of citrus in here, and I'm going to prepare a scallion. Just a
You
little.
said salt fish after cooking or after seasoning?
I salt fish after I cook it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would take it off of the grill or out of the oven if I'm roasting it, and then I would salt it. This is job one is done. Mango salsa is prepared.
Beautiful.
Okay. So now we're going to move over here and tell me if you can see this okay.
It looks good so far. Can I just ask you one point of clarification? You had mentioned it as a salsa and a chutney. What is the difference?
Yes, a salsa and a chutney have similar properties depending on where you are in the world, really.
Huh.
Okay. So Indian people might call it a chutney, whereas Caribbean people might call it a salsa. So I'm using those terms somewhat interchangeably, but what this really probably mostly is would be more of a salsa because the pieces are a little bigger. So now I'm going to make salsa verde. And what goes into salsa verde is these roasted poblano chilies, tomatillos, which are like little green tomatoes, cilantro, and some chili. And we're going to put this right here in the food processor. And you want to make sure you have some liquid in there, or else it's not going to create a nice bind. So I use citrus juice in here to keep it nice and bright. Okay. And make sure that
oranges or any citrus is good.
Yeah, these are clementines and limes that I'm using. I like the combination of the sweet and the tart together. Okay. So now I am going to process this. Okay, so now what you can see is that I have this beautiful salsa verde that's nice and bright.
Looks amazing.
Right. That comes from the tomatillos and it comes from the poblano chilies. Okay, so now that's done. So we only have now, and this hasn't taken a long time at all. You could do this when you get home from work.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So we have our salsa verde done. Now, what I have done is in advance, I made a saffron beurre blanc, which is very simple to make. You make chicken stock, okay, or you can use boxed. I really prefer making your own. and you combine it with butter, whisk it together, and then seep saffron in it. It's going to give it that beautiful color. Okay. So what we're going to, excuse me?
I said that all sounds amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we're going to add some real Caribbean flair to this. And we're going to include one of my favorite ingredients to cook with, which is plantains. Plantains are great substitutes for potatoes and other starches if you're doing a Caribbean style fusion with other cuisines. I will use plantains in some unorthodox formats. I'll serve it with lobster. I'll serve it with even Asian and Southeast Asian interpretations.
Ooh.
And the way that you prepare plantains is you have to fry them twice. So back here, I have some frying oil that is at a relatively lower temperature, okay? And I'm gonna fry them first in this lower temperature to make them soft. Then I'm gonna take them out, crush them, fry them again. Then they're gonna create little boats, little plantain boats that we're gonna fill with the mango salsa, top with the scallops, top with the salsa verde, and then anoint with the butter sauce.
Oh, amazing. And so when you say you're frying them, you're submerging them in oil?
Yeah, I'm frying these in peanut oil.
Peanut oil. Great.
Yeah, that is my favorite oil to fry in. I think it has a really high smoke point, which is great because a lot of oils can get a little smoky if you get them too high with the heat. So I'm going to move you a little closer now so you can see what I'm doing over here. Can you see this pan okay?
I sure can. I wish I was there in person.
So now, to cook a scallop, what I do is I use a combination of peanut oil, which this is, a little bit, and butter, okay? Now the peanut oil is going to raise the smoke point of the butter. The butter would burn without the peanut oil in it to balance it out, okay? So we're gonna melt this butter in here, and then we're gonna use a technique that is to baste the scallop as they are cooking. What you want with the scallop is a nice brown crust on the outside, and then you don't want to cook your scallops all the way through. You cook them to medium, like a steak, okay? And that is going to make sure that they don't get rubbery and that they stay beautifully soft and textured.
How do I learn when it hits medium? Is it trial and error?
You can touch it and tell. Okay. So depending on how firm the scallop is, you can have a sense of how cooked it is. So now we're going to put these on here.
Beautiful scallops too.
You did?
I said those are beautiful looking scallops.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
large.
yeah. We got some good ones today. I always go to the local fish shop, you know? Like a lot of times, you know, you're gonna develop a relationship with your fish person, and in that way they'll just tell you what's best to get that day, you know, and then you can prepare it. So these plátanos here, these plantains, are fried once now. Okay. So this is called a tostonera. It's used in Cuban cuisine and other Latin American cuisines to smash plantains just for this purpose. So you put it in here, you smash it down, and then it creates a little cup. Okay. something else to get used to because this is pretty hot. So I'm gonna make 2 little cups here, okay? And then I'm gonna return these. I'm gonna make this cup. Then I'm gonna return these to the oil, okay?
Mhm.
And that's gonna make sure that they get nice and brown and crispy in that shape, okay? So now check on my scallops here. They should be taking some color. It's been about a minute. That's a good gauge. And I'm gonna increase the heat a little bit now so they take a little bit of a brown, okay? So you only have to really brown them on one side. The other side, you're really just kissing with the heat, okay? So let's let those scallops continue to do what they're doing here, okay? We're gonna turn them, okay? And you can see they're starting to develop color. That's what you want. These 2 scallops here are developing nice color. And I'm only plating 1 plate today. So the only thing we really need is these 2 scallops here, right? Don't be afraid of scallops. They will not get rubbery if you cook them right.
Great.
Okay, so while that's finishing, let's take out our plantains, which are now appropriately golden brown and delicious,
Oh yeah, look at that.
which is what you want. Okay, G, B, and D. Now we're gonna hit these with a little bit of salt, okay? And then we are going to plate. And you can see this whole procedure here didn't take long. If you're prepared and you have some fundamentals down, this does not have to take a long time to make something beautiful at home. So now I'm gonna plate. And what I'm gonna do here, if you can see this okay over here, Jared, is this okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna take, this is a smaller portion. This would be like if you're gonna have maybe an appetizer, as an appetizer portion. So I'm gonna take my lightly salted plantains here. I'm going to add them to the center of my plate. When you plate from the inside outwards, not the cafeteria style where everything is in little compartments.
Huh.
So now I'm going to take some of my mango sauce, my mango salsa here, and I'm going to place it inside of my plantain bowls here. Okay, so you get that nice orange color. Then a scallop goes on top of each. Make sure that you have everything nicely balanced, so it doesn't fall off. So now we're going to anoint each of the scallops with a little bit of this salsa verde right here. Like that. And like that. And now finally, we can sauce it with this beautiful saffron beurre blanc and sauce the plate around it. A little more. And there you have pan-seared scallops with mango salsa verde in plantain cups with a saffron beurre blanc.
Wow. And it looks beautiful. I'm sure it must taste amazing. It's really great.
Well, let's get, yeah. Okay, how's that? Is that a reasonable shot of it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, good.
Oh, those scallops just look absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Well
Yeah, that's
done.
how you got to get them. Just like that. Just like that.
Oh,
So,
man, I wish I could be that TV host that gets to try the
yeah, well,
dish.
I do it's possible to eat my food.
How do we do that? Can you tell us?
Yeah. Contact me on Instagram at Omnimatic, and I do private parties where I do 8 courses with wine pairings. And I do it here in my apartment. My apartment is designed for this. That's why I built it. And I also do weddings and large-scale events. And I have a line of luxury foods coming out too, including some sauces. So that's where we're headed. And if you'd like to get an invite to my club and you're in the area or will be in the area, I'm in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. You can just send me a note, and we can potentially get you to be a member of the club, because I'm always looking for new, interesting, vibrant people to join the club.
That sounds amazing, John. Thank you so much. That's all the time that we have.
Okay, it's been my pleasure, Jared.
This was really nice. It was a beautiful dish. I'm sure it tastes great. I'm gonna once again recommend people check out your Instagram, Omnimatic.
Okay.
It's fantastic, really beautiful work. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank
I want to
you.
thank a couple of people. We've got Michael Weber is our executive director. Thanks, Michael. Jory Love, our executive producer. Paul Beck, our director. Joshua Lovering, our editor, and Lauren Bitar is our master control operator. I'm Jared Craig, your host for Around Foxborough, and we had with us today John Torres. John, thanks so much again for your time.
Thank you, Jared. I look forward to doing it again.
3 Saffron, check him out.
That's it. See you soon.
Thanks, John. Bye.